I was chatting with an offensive coach in the NFL just last night who was asking me about Kenny Pickett as a trade object for trade status. And I do think, and not just Pickett, it could be Flacco. If you look around the league right now, there are still some unsettled quarterback situations. There are still some teams that potentially aren't totally satisfied with their quarterback rooms. There's a very good chance that Andrew Berry and the Browns are going to be fielding phone calls for any and all of these quarterbacks right now. I was chatting.
Now, this came out lowest man on the totem pole, according to the Cleveland Browns coaching staff. Now, this here is very alarming, man. Judging off the performance Shedeur had in his one preseason game, there's no way Shedeur Sanders should still be fourth on the depth chart. Guys, I just got to keep it real. Dillon Gabriel is third.
The Cleveland Browns are secretly planning to trade Shedeur Sanders, and they think you're too stupid to see what's really happening. Behind closed doors, NFL coaches are already making calls, asking about availability, and the Browns front office is playing games with the most popular rookie in the draft. What if I told you that keeping him fourth on the depth chart, barely giving him reps with the first team, isn't incompetence, but a calculated move to squeeze every ounce of value out of his name before they ship him out? The whispers are getting louder, guys. NFL insiders are talking, and what they're saying will make your blood boil.
And I told y'all yesterday, it is Kevin Stefanski and Jimmy Haslam. I'm telling y'all, and I've been telling y'all, if they do not trade Shedeur, they're holding him hostage. And they're literally using him for clicks. Bro, there's no way around it. They're using Shedeur for clicks.
Why?
Look, I've been covering the NFL for years, and I've seen some shady stuff go down. But what's happening to Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland? This is next-level manipulation, and it's time we call it what it is. You clicked on this video because you sensed something wasn't right, didn't you? Your gut was telling you that something stinks in Cleveland, and brother, your instincts are dead on. Let me paint you the real picture of what's going down in Ohio right now. While Browns fans are out here buying jerseys and getting hyped about having Coach Prime's son on their team, the front office is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They drafted the most electrifying quarterback prospect in years, watched him light up preseason games, and then what do? They bury him at fourth on the depth chart like he's some undrafted free agent who can barely throw a spiral. But here's where it gets really dirty. NFL insiders are already whispering about trades. We're talking about coaches from other teams. Coaches who actually know talent when they see it, reaching out and asking about availability. These aren't casual conversations, guys. These are serious inquiries from organizations that understand what they're looking at when they watch Shedeur's tape. Now, you might be thinking, maybe Cleveland just has a deep quarterback room. Oh, really? Let's break down this deep room they're so proud of. You've got Joe Flacco, who's pushing 40 and was literally pulled out of retirement. Then there's Kenny Pickett, who Pittsburgh couldn't wait to get rid of. And Dillon Gabriel, a third-round pick who's solid, but let's be real. He's not moving the needle like Shedeur does to SO explain to me how the most popular player in the entire draft, the guy who brings more excitement and buzz than anyone on that roster, is sitting fourth? It doesn't add up unless you understand the game they're really playing. Kevin Stefanski slipped up recently, and his words are more revealing than he probably intended. When asked about keeping all four quarterbacks, he said something that should make every Browns fan's blood run cold. I'd like to keep everybody, but it's not realistic. That right there? That's not coach speak. That's a man who already knows someone's getting shipped out.
I think they wanted to wait until they had a market for him. And you know what now? You sit back and you wait for a phone call from Jerry Jones. Because if I don't trust Joe Milton or Will Grier to be the backup to Dak Prescott, at least I have a guy that's played.
Yeah, that's right.
A fairly significant number of games. He was the starter for 2 seasons with the Steelers, so he's got experience. It's better than rolling the dice on a project. So it could go Prescott, Pickett, Milton in 2025.
But here's the kicker, and this is where the conspiracy gets really deep. They're not planning to trade Kenny Pickett first. They're not looking to move Dillon Gabriel. No, they're eyeing Shedeur Sanders, and the reason will make you sick. Think about it from a business perspective for a second. Who generates the most buzz? Who sells the most jerseys? Who gets people talking on social media and filling up comment sections? It's Shedeur, and it's not even close. The Browns front office knows this. They understand that as long as Shedeur Sanders is on their roster, they've got a marketing gold mine, even if he never sees the field. But here's the evil genius part of their plan. They can milk his name recognition, sell his jerseys, generate social media engagement, and create buzz around their franchise, all while having zero intention of actually developing him as their quarterback of the future. Then, when they've squeezed every drop of value out of his brand presence, they can trade him to another team and claim they got great value for a developmental prospect. It's the ultimate bait and switch, and Browns fans are the ones getting played. Let's talk about what we saw in preseason, because this is where their whole narrative falls apart. Shedeur Sanders didn't just look decent, he looked like he belonged. His pocket presence, his arm talent, his ability to read defenses, everything you want to see from a young quarterback was there. Meanwhile, Kenny Pickett looked exactly like the same quarterback who couldn't hold down a starting job in Pittsburgh, yet somehow, mysteriously, Shedeur remains at the bottom of the depth chart. They're not even giving him meaningful reps with the first team in practice. Why would you do that unless you never intended for him to actually compete for a starting role? The truth is, Cleveland never planned to give Shedeur a real shot. They drafted him because they knew his name would generate headlines, sell tickets, and create buzz around a franchise that's been irrelevant for decades. But actually developing him? Actually giving him the opportunity to prove he belongs? That was never part of the plan. And the saddest part? Shedeur probably knows it. Can you imagine being in his position right now? You're the son of a legendary player and coach. You've been successful at every level you've played. You get drafted by an NFL team, and instead of competition and opportunity, you get buried on a depth chart and used as a marketing tool. If I'm Shedeur Sanders right now, I'm walking into Kevin Stefanski's office and having a very direct conversation. Coach, either give me a real opportunity to compete for this job or trade me to a team that will. Because that's what this is really about, respect and opportunity. The Browns are betting that Shedeur will just sit quietly, collect his paycheck, and be grateful for the opportunity. But here's what they don't understand about the Sanders family. They don't settle. They don't accept being disrespected. And they sure as hell don't let themselves be used as pawns in someone else's game. Other NFL teams are watching this situation closely. Dallas Cowboys, they're one phone call away from making a move if their quarterback situation doesn't work out. The New York Jets, they've got questions at the position that Kenny Pickett can't answer, but Shedeur might be able to. Detroit Lions, they're a quarterback injury away from needing someone who can actually play. The market is there. The demand is real. And Cleveland knows it. But here's where this gets really twisted. The Browns are probably hoping that Shedeur's trade value increases the longer he sits. They're betting that other teams will see his potential and be willing to give up significant compensation to acquire him. It's like holding a valuable asset and waiting for the highest bidder. The problem with that strategy? It's completely unfair. To the player, Shedeur Sanders didn't get drafted to be a trading card. He got drafted to play football. And every day he spends buried on Cleveland's depth chart is a day of development he's not getting. This is bigger than just Shedeur Sanders. Though, this is about how NFL franchises treat young players, especially players who come with built-in fan bases and marketing value. Are teams drafting players to develop them, or are they drafting them to use them as business assets? Cleveland's handling of this situation is sending a message to every young quarterback in college football. Your value as a brand might matter more than your value as a player. That's a dangerous precedent, and it's exactly the kind of thinking that keeps franchises stuck in mediocrity. But let's talk about what this means for Shedeur specifically, because that's who we're really rooting for here. The kid has talent, real talent, the kind of arm strength, pocket awareness, and football IQ that you can't teach. But talent means nothing without opportunity, and opportunity means nothing without an organization that believes in you. Cleveland clearly doesn't believe in Shedeur Sanders as their quarterback of the future. If they did, he wouldn't be fourth on the depth chart. He wouldn't be getting scout team reps while Kenny Pickett gets first-team opportunities. He'd be in a real competition for the starting job. Instead, what we're seeing is a franchise that wants to have their cake and eat it. 2. They want the buzz that comes with having Shedeur Sanders on their roster, but they don't want to commit to actually developing him as a player. That's not fair to Shedeur, and it's not fair to Browns fans who are genuinely excited about the possibility of watching him play. The clock is ticking on this situation. Trade deadline conversations are already happening behind the scenes. Phone calls are being made, values are being assessed, and somewhere in all of this, there's a young quarterback who just wants a chance to show what he can do. My prediction: Shedeur Sanders won't finish the season in Cleveland. Whether it's a trade before the season starts or a move before the trade deadline, this situation is unsustainable. You can't draft a player with his profile, generate this much attention, and then just let him rot on the bench. The Browns think they're being clever. They think they're maximizing their assets and playing the long game. But what they're really doing is wasting the prime development years of a potentially elite quarterback while using his name to sell tickets and jerseys. And when Shedeur Sanders inevitably gets traded to another team and starts lighting up scoreboards, Cleveland fans are going to realize exactly what their front office gave up in the name of smart business. Here's my message to Shedeur: don't let them use you. Don't let them waste your talent. You've got too much potential to be anyone's marketing pawn. Demand the respect and opportunity you've earned, and if Cleveland can't give it to you, then force their hand and find a team that will. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about the Cleveland Browns. This isn't about Kevin Stefanski or Jimmy Haslam. This is about a young man's NFL career and his right to compete at the highest level. What do you think? Am I right about what's really happening in Cleveland, or am I reading too much into this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear what you're thinking. Are the Browns secretly planning to trade Shedeur, or are they genuinely trying to develop him behind the scenes? And if you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our insider analysis of what's really happening in the NFL. Until next time, keep questioning what you're being told, and always remember, in the NFL, business usually comes before football. The truth is out there, and Shedeur Sanders deserves better than what Cleveland is giving him right now.